Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Tour de France 24, episode 35. We're at the Tour de France. It's 14 stages in, so 2 of the 3 weeks are now complete. And we find ourselves having moved into 6th place in the GC after a successful breakaway helped us gain some time in one of the earlier stages, and we've held on despite still being a breakaway rider. But the big thing, and what we're really after, is that King of the Mountains. And we've moved into the lead ahead of Johannesson, who's been in many breakaways. We have 54 points, getting that Ars Cat climb, the hard climb, the tough one. And getting the maximum points there has catapulted us into the lead of that competition. Likewise, Pogacar is breathing down our neck in the individual pro cycling rankings, and I do suspect that before the end of this Tour de France, he will surpass us, especially taking the overall victory. But I've had so much success in this race, including a stage victory, that I have accumulated a fair amount of points still in the lead. Only just for now, and I'm sure it's going to be seeing us drop to about 3rd, maybe by the end of this race, or worse. But for now, we're continuing to do well and going well beyond the point where I thought we would be competitive in those individual rankings. Likewise, we're still 2nd as a team. At this point, I would say most likely to drop to 3rd, especially with UAE, the one behind us. Soudal Quickstep could jump ahead of us, or Alpecin Duquesne, but if we can hang on to 3rd, that would be fantastic by the end of this race. A week to go. Let's get to it. This is the stage where things could really fall apart in the GC, but it's also the stage where I could really affirm the King of the Mountains, as there's not a lot of climbing left. The next mountain stage is not until 19. We have a rest day following this one. I'm really good at recovery. It's going to put me in a great position. Others around me are probably going to be pretty tired today, giving me a real shot at it. But with 3 Cat 1s, a Cat 2, and Cat 3 prior to the final climb, the unfortunate thing, the final climb is worth a lot of points as well. So we're going to have to work really hard on those earlier stages. And if I'm going to be spending all day in the break, if they allow me to go, very likely that by that final climb, I'm going to be struggling to have anything left in the tank and lose a lot of time on the climb. So I could see my GC position drop a bit. And as much as I want to take 6th versus 8th, the only difference is some points. It's not going to make any difference on my development as a rider, but winning the King of the Mountains will. Winning those climbs will. Winning an intermediate sprint will. And so that has to remain the priority for this year. I cannot just dive headfirst into, well, now that we've got a decent position in the GC, right? It would be different if it were the Ben O'Connor La Vuelta situation where you're 5 minutes ahead trying to hang on. And I think realistically, we could draw a lot of comparisons between ourselves and Ben O'Connor, who's not an elite climber, but a very good climber. I'm not even a very good climber, but I think at least with the game difficulty the way it is, I can hang as a very good climber, like a Ben O'Connor, and lose smaller amounts of time. But continuing to be the breakaway rider and continuing to go for the King of the Mountains is the most beneficial and will remain the target. Just fingers crossed that they still let me go. They did before, and I'm further down than I was. I lost 4 minutes. I'm like 8 minutes down overall. So with a bigger deficit, it should be easier to get in the break than it was. And so I don't think we'll have too much trouble. And starting off right off the bat with a climb is a great way to establish that breakaway as well. Definitely carrying that fatigue, but not serious. I mean, everybody on the team is fatigued. We got that rest day and a sprint stage after that, and I think I'll be right back to being fine. But before we get out there, we need to change the objectives. Problem here is I don't seem to have any control over the objectives of the other riders, just myself.
The favorites, they must ensure that they don't get cut off.
And we attack right off from kilometer 0. Having that quick descent and then going right into the climb is kind of a perfect scenario to give me a real chance at getting out there. Half a minute ahead of the peloton as we already begin the first climb of the day. 8.2 kilometers, 7.6%. Others now attacking, and the gap starting to increase. Coming out towards a bit. I want to set kind of a nice steady tempo. Derek G's almost caught up to me. Already had 22 off front, 5 more attacking and seemingly getting away just fine. So it looks like we're at about 27 now, with a lot of the same usual suspects.
Make sure you don't leave him alone up front.
Now 2.5 minutes ahead of the peloton, so definitely secured for the breakaway today. And with G and I alone at the front, about 9 seconds ahead of chasers. At this point, I'm kind of intent on continuing to push. Take the next 5K, get the first climb, get the 10 points here, having that advantage of having gone first, still having the red bar here. I think that's enough to do what's necessary for the first climb. Then we set up, let the breakaway come together as one. There you go. There's the words I'm looking for. But I'm definitely pushing harder than they want to push. And Derek G is taking advantage, obviously just following on. But he attacked later than I did. Had to push harder to catch up, and then has had no break since making that contact. So I think attacking him won't be as hard as it might seem. I have the full red bar. Climb a little less steep at the moment. It will steepen again here shortly, but we are down to 2.5K till we reach the top on this one. And I don't need to accelerate at the moment because we are actually slowly pulling away from the 25. They're all together now, and then the two of us away. 30 seconds ahead. So as I slowly pull that out, making the top first. Don't want to go a full 1K out, but I also don't want to let Derek G kind of come over the top of me. Watching him closely right now. I want to take it a little bit further. Maybe this blue car up here will be a good time to put the attack on. Maybe the second blue car. He still hasn't gone. Yeah. Oh, he sits up out of the saddle. Okay, I've got him. I've got him. Can't go full gas, though. Got to make sure I make the top. I'm not 10 seconds ahead. 10 seconds ahead. Easily got this. Easily got this. Setting up early. There you go. Over the top. Immediately resting. There's 10 points. Full recovery achieved already on the descent. Still descending. And I'm such a good descender that I've pulled away a lot. I'm going to continue to just ride easy even though things are leveling out here because I'm so far ahead of these guys. I want them to catch me. I do not want to be going solo for the entirety of the stage. We're 4 minutes ahead of the peloton for now. The breakaway is all split up again after it had come together. And as we've reached the valley, we got a ways till the next climb. And again, this is not one of those I want to go solo for the whole stage scenarios. Good for the combativity award, but I think we're so far behind in that one that I don't think we're going to be catching Johannesson on that anytime. Or not. Who's leading that? Johannesson's my chaser in the KOM. He might be the one leading the combativity. Can't tell for sure. Anyway, I'm definitely riding nice and easy right now and barely using energy. Those guys behind should be chasing. Yeah, 21 of them. 5 behind may not get back up here, but they probably will. They're only a handful of seconds off of making contact. Base of the second climb, second Cat 1 of 3, 9.4K, 9%. I did get caught by the group, so all 27 together now, and the pace does start to pick up a little bit, but now I get to sit on and spend a little bit less energy, so it all kind of works out. And I think I will have to kind of contribute. I'm the biggest threat in the GC, the highest placed. I'm the big KOM guy. I don't have much of a choice. I do have to be part of the work here. Otherwise, they will certainly attack me. Peloton's working pretty hard. They're only a minute 50 behind us. We are pulling out a little bit right now as I take my turn. And I think I can, there we go, yeah, back off. I shouldn't have to come right back to the front. There's only a couple of us contributing now. Nobody's been split off yet. KOM, let's see. So what I'm looking for. 2.5K to go to the top. I'm going to use my gel a little bit and get control here, but I also need to use gels for other guys. The peloton is shrinking. Just use part of it. There's another climb coming, but it's only a Cat 2, then the feed zone, but I want to make sure I'm at 100% at that point. 2.5K out. I'm going for it now.
You should perhaps be waiting for the group behind. It will be easier if there are several of you.
Okay, I've split off a little bit, but not everybody.
2 kilometers from the summit. Watch your opponent.
So I've thinned the herd, but I've also put myself kind of on the spot here. I'll save that last little bit of gel for later. Attacking again. Okay, down to 3. Again, gelling. Final kilometer. Ooh, they pulled us back.
There's plenty of damage at the
And
back.
Bardet now attacks, but you can see just how little is left in the tank for these guys. Following Yates for now. Following Yates. Yeah, he's pushed. He's pushed to the extreme. Got it. That was the thing about the gels. That was the thing about the gels. You push everybody to their limit. Now it's going to be a tougher descent. It's going to be harder to recover. It's also a shorter descent. Ooh, trying to look. I'm trying to glance at what's going on in the peloton. There's 99 riders left there.
Yates confirmed his potential
I've
as a
lost at
climber in
least
2018
one rider.
by winning 3
Whoa,
stages
whoa,
of the Tour
whoa.
of Italy and by
Hey.
winning the general classification of the Vuelta.
I got out of the Aero Tuck and it just kept right on going. Didn't want to turn at all. So, Cat 2, 4.5K, 9.6%. I'm almost back to full strength. I still have half a gel. The feed zone's after this climb, so 4.4K, I think. One of the best things right here is that the guys around me barely Aero Tucked, if at all. So they are nowhere near the strength that I'm at right now. I should have a pretty easy time on this climb if I set a high tempo and kind of force the issue. 91 left in the peloton. 2 of our domestiques are gone, but Turgis has taken over control there, and the other guys, they're going to be descending. They're 3 minutes behind, so they're still going to be descending for a little while, but you can see just what I'm talking about with the recovery being a lot less. McNulty was protected, and he's still pretty tired. Breakaways spread out all over the place. One by one, they'll be getting picked up. But we're just going to go set tempo here and put some suffering into the legs of those around me, and the peloton for that matter. $1K banner. We haven't dropped anybody else yet, but you can see just how low my energy is now from this effort. And we're inside that 1K. And I've got the full red bar for the attack. Here come the others, Yates and Dunbar, teammates working together. Definitely saving something. 400 meters. Okay, now we're going full gas coming through. Bardet. Outer red bar, outer red bar, outer red bar. No gel. I'm not going to get the maximum points this time. 2 points though. 22.
The first
Quintana
riders
was
are now on
the
a long
other
transition
rider in the
before
group.
the next climb.
Sections here. Dunbar's close. Quintana looks like he's done. I don't think he's going to get back, so we're going to have a group of 4 continuing on. But this is this is going to be a long valley before you get to the next climb of the day. Alright, descent over. I'm almost fully recovered, and I still have half a gel. We've got a ways till the feed zone. Next up for us is going to be the intermediate sprint. Quintana's back to just 20 seconds behind. He's going to go deep to try to get up here, and I kind of hope he does. I'd like to have 5 of us. I'd prefer the 16 to not make it, but just 37 left in the peloton. And McNulty alone. The field split on the descents. Alright, changing the command to working with them now. as my percentages really dropped off, and that group, the chasers, caught us. So we're back up to 21. I'm going to work just for a little bit and then stop. We're now at 4.5K till the intermediate sprint, and then the feed zone just after that, and I still have that half a gel. 2K, 220 to the small peloton. Just McNulty there. Two teammates in the chase group. That's a little ways behind. Okay, 1K from the sprint. 1K from the sprint. I don't know if this is too early or not, but definitely going for it. 500 meters. Can't go full gas here. I'm almost out of red bar. Got it. Got it quite easily. There we go. Van Eetvelt behind Madison.
You've won the intermediate sprint. Well done.
Got credit for another one. Fantastic. Peloton back up to 58. Back up to 83. Vine and Hamilton are there now to support McNulty. And eventually myself, because we're... Well, actually, you know what? Quintana's been dropped, but we are out to 4 minutes over the peloton. So there's enough firepower in this breakaway that we have pulled a bigger gap. Peloton's really just sat up. It's up to 91 riders now. So from 20-something to 90. And they're allowing us a very healthy margin that could set me up for a chance to not lose much time on the final climb. And meanwhile, the breakaway's down to 16 because we're pushing tempo. And me sitting on is burning some energy, but not what the others are dropping. So it's not the final climb. Right now the decisive moment is this climb, and I'm sitting up, really? I'm sitting up. I'm going to have to ride on. There's still a little ways to go, but I just about have the energy for it. Let's tell McNulty to use his gel, and then I got to take control, and it's 2K. I think that's why I'm sitting up, is because I have only so much energy remaining. 2 more riders dropped.
I don't know if it's a bluff, but the breakaway looks to be increasing the pace at the front of the race.
The breakaway increased its lead on the yellow jersey group.
Dan sits up. I gotta ride on. Or Dave and Eetvelt. 800 meters. I'm not gonna get maximum points here at all. But I have a gel. Set the tempo. I won't set the tempo I want. I couldn't get the tempo I wanted to go steady. Zimmerman goes maximum points. Oh, here we go again. Van Eetvelt. Only 2 points.
Keep it up.
Whoa.
For another transition
Wow,
across
that's
flat
already...
terrain.
That's it. Cat 3. And then the long descent to come. And I have not recovered much. We catch Van Eetvelt very quickly. 3.5K. I cannot climb maximum 100%. I left those 3 behind, so I'm setting my own tempo here. Zimmerman, that's Tarame, and 1 other rider, so 3 guys ahead of me. Steepest section here is nearly done. I can just about make contact and just kind of sit on with those guys here in a moment, and then hope I've got a tiny little something left for the points that are there. That's what, a Cat 3, so there's going to be 2 and 1 is all. So finish top 2 is the only way you're going to get it. Right now I'm not looking like I'm going to finish top 2. 4:45 though to the peloton. Full recovery coming on the longer descent after this one means, you know, still got a real shot at finishing at least around the GC leaders at the top of the final climb. But just hanging on right now. Luckily, Tarme and Zimmerman are teammates. 4 of us, 3 chasing, and then a big gap to others. So there's maybe 7 of us left for already. Oh, 500 meters.
They're riding hard
I
behind.
gotta just climb tempo here.
The breakaway
And
is
back
being
off.
reamed in.
I'm not gonna get the points
It'll
this
be
time.
difficult to withstand the return of the yellow jersey.
Schultz and Zimmerman get the points this time. I've still got the vast majority of the points on the day, though. So I've brought the front 4 back together. And with the 2 teammates, you can kind of force them into most of the work. Bardet in no man's land. Harada, plus 1 other. Simon Yates still out there. 26 left in the peloton. And McNulty is there. Does he have any support, though? No, he does not. He also has no energy left at the moment. But they should be descending by now, or beginning their descent by now. And that is the end of the descent. We're into a false flat here for quite a while. I'm not going to work anytime soon. And then into the final climb. Now, at this point, I'm thinking about GC, not about the points at the top of the climb, but with a 4.5 minute advantage over that peloton, there's a good chance that we're going to be, still a good 4 minutes ahead at the base of the climb. And we've already seen that I can lose 4 minutes on one of those climbs, but the last one I didn't lose more than that, so fingers crossed. I can just climb my tempo and get there, if I'm lucky, a minute ahead. And we saw how tired McNulty is, and that group's only got 26, so it's not like they've got a ton of firepower. Last time they sat up and dropped, 3 minutes to bring other riders back up to them so that they had firepower to do something, and then immediately hit the climb and fell back apart. Ended up right back down into the, a few more riders than what they had before, and then right back in that same scenario, yet 3 minutes further behind. Tarme finally sits up, but the other 2 come through to take a turn, so I'm in a very ideal scenario at the moment. 4 minutes to the peloton. They've only added 2 riders, so it's 28. The 2 they added, I think, were breakaway riders. They are 3 minutes ahead of Danny Martinez, Ayuso, Koos, all out the back, Van Wilder, Godu was high up the standings, wasn't he? I'm at full strength for this point in the stage. There's no additional recovery that I can make. Contributing would certainly be helpful, but not really. Not really. So I play it strategic. I piss these guys off. So be it. It is. One more Arscat climb. And Schultz on the attack. 15.6k, 7.9%.
The front of the race, the climb to the Plateau de Bay. It's an ascent of over
Not a fan of the effort right now.
Out at 8%.
They're about to get swept up by the chase group. Back out to 3.5 minutes to the peloton as we've made this big effort. They were closing it down. We're starting to pull away even more too. But I'm back down to low energy for now. So we definitely burned some energy here at the base of the climb, and not in the way that makes me a fan at all. But staying with these guys ultimately saves energy. We gotta watch it for now. Can't do that too long. Pogacar group, Simon Yates, Woods, breakaway riders out the back. Harada's been dropped. Tarme still holding the gap over Bardet, and they seem to be losing time now, so they are falling apart already. And Zimmerman and Schultz, I don't know how much energy they're going to have to kind of keep pushing for very long, but they don't like the tempo I'm setting. I was surprised by that, but like I said, at some point we got to just climb our tempo and take it. Hope that we hang on. Ciccone dropped out of the peloton. Carapaz, groups attacking. You got riders attacking the peloton now. So it's all going to kick off there in just a moment. The chase group has been caught now. Carapaz is alone from attacking the peloton, which is now 2.5 minutes behind us, by the way. Yeah, they decide to attack me. I do all the work for, what, 3K, something like that? And then pull back, and then they immediately try to attack. So they are trying to distance me here. 3 of us back together. Down to 16 in the peloton, and McNulty is not amongst it. He got dropped, and he got dropped pretty early. Just a minute and a half to those guys now. They are coming pretty fast. We're not even quite halfway through the climb. And neither one of them want to work all of a sudden. Minute 9 now, just 15 riders coming. Pidcock, Van Barl, Adam Yates all dropped. Christian Rodriguez dropped. I'm trying to think about who's got what position GC off the top of my head, which I don't have
Another
that down very
7
well.
kilometers. The front of the race doesn't have much of a lead. It's looking difficult to think about a win. Watch out, there's an attack.
Schultz has dropped. Schultz has dropped. I'm getting a little bit of sheltering from the wind here with Zimmerman. I think he's about done too. Last 10 riders inside 1 minute.
1 minute ahead of the yellow jersey.
I'm definitely going to lose some time today, but
Acceleration
it's a smaller and smaller group. Bardet already out the back. There's 11 left. Bilbao has attacked the group. Pogacar attacked the group. Pogacar has quickly pulled away from the group. He's now just 15 seconds behind me.
The leader was in danger, but he's once again leading the overall.
Pogacar solo. Vingegaard chasing. Pogacar full on attack. Goodbye.
There's an attack at the head of the peloton.
There's Vingegaard. There's Bilbao.
30 seconds lead on the yellow jersey.
There's Vlasov and Hindley. Evenepoel.
The yellow jersey group
Landa.
is 1 minute from the head of the race.
Roglic. Moss. Geraint
Only 5
Thomas.
kilometers left for the man in front. The gaps are small and stage victory is far from sure.
I could lose a lot of time.
The head of the race
5K
is 1.5
banner.
minutes lead on the yellow jersey.
I was hoping that the gap would be a little more secure, but we lost a minute over the valley.
On the yellow jersey group.
That 1 minute wouldn't have lasted much longer though, but you can see the guys kind of dropping off one by one, and I'm probably pretty secure into this 10th position on the stage right now. Behind me is Vlasov, and the gap is growing rapidly with him. Carapaz plus one other, Carlos Rodriguez. Those guys are all about anywhere from a half minute to a minute out. It's going to flatten out here momentarily. I'm on the verge of catching Thomas and one more. Who's that with him? Trying to hang on, but the blue bar is gone. Down to the red bar. I'd love to finish with these 4 and have just 5 guys ahead of us up the road, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen. I'm going to have to back off and not blow up here at some stage. But we're opening a healthy gap behind us. Gotta set up. Thomas is trying to let Bilbao through, and Bilbao can barely push. So I'm actually recovering a little bit. But allowed the 2 ahead of us to go away a little further, Moss being one of them. Pogacar takes a win right ahead of Vingegaard, so Pogacar gets the stage. The 2 favorites finishing first. I've still got 1.5 kilometers to go, but it does flatten out a lot, so it does go faster. But you see how I'm just barely hanging on here. Roglic gets 3rd on the stage, then Hindley and Evenepoel, 4th and 5th. Last kilometer now. Big acceleration from those guys. I don't have any sort of acceleration. We are fighting for that next position, so that's the 4 guys. And then myself that still have to finish, and I've still got a healthy gap behind me. Just 4 guys, or 3 guys chasing, and they're 40 seconds behind. But I'm not setting a great tempo here. Push a little bit harder. Landa gets 6th. Moss, Bilbao, Thomas, myself. Still well ahead of any other chasers. Like I said, I could have lost a ton of time today considering I was in the breakaway. One, I'm a little short of the KOM points that I was hoping for, but I still picked up a ton of KOM points today. So it's been good for the GC, except the 20 points that Pogacar got at the finish. I scored way more than 20 points today, though. We'll check on that. So I've at least opened the gap on him a little bit. We're heading into a rest day. We've got a sprint stage coming, so that's all going to be good. McNulty's had a poor day, though. He's still 2.5K from the finish right now. Pogacar and Vingegaard over a minute ahead of Roglic, Hindley, Evenepoel, and then 4 minutes to Landamos, Bilbao, Thomas, myself, still in the 4-minute range, though a little ways behind those guys. 4:46 down overall now. Then Vlasov at 5.5, Carapaz, Carlos Rodriguez, then 6 to Bernal. McNulty was 12:47 down. KOM on the day. Thought I had a little more than 24 points, but I suppose that makes sense, right? I had 2 Cat 1s. Ooh, I didn't win 2. Yes, I won 2 Cat 1s. The first one and the second one had 20 points. I only picked up 4 points over the last 3 climbs. I had 2 by going 3rd over the top of the Cat 2, and then I had 2 points by going 4th, 5th over the Cat 1, and no points because I was 3rd over the Cat 3. And I was hoping that finishing 10th would still have a point or 2 for the final climb, but it does not. It probably goes down to about 8th place is all. So no additional points there. So I only gain 4 points over Pogacar. That's all. But again, there was more to gain from being in the breakaway than there was to ride for GC. If I were riding for GC, chances are I was probably still going to be in about the same position because I'm not a good mountain-rated climber. The head start on the climb made a huge difference for me. I still lost a ton of climb. Remember, I've got like a 73 mountain rating. But Pogacar gains 20 on the day, and that's the challenging part. All the other guys, the breakaway ones, they didn't gain much today. We were 8th as a team today, though, so we are likely to lose some time again and back ourselves up from the 5th in the team classification. Combativity was a great day for me, picking up 177k, much more than anybody else. As Johannesson got 68, I believe he's the one who's leading that. But in the GC now, it's Pogacar. Vingegaard has moved up into 2nd, just a few seconds ahead of Evenepoel. That group well ahead of everybody else. Van Aert finally left out of the mix and is now 6.5 minutes down overall, dropping out of the race lead. He was in the race lead. That's right. Van Aert was in that breakaway with me and had moved into the race lead. He's now 4th. I forgot about that. Totally forgot about that. My bad on that. It's only been like 5 days since I recorded the last one, but my memory did not recall that. Bilbao 5th. Roglic moves up a couple spots to 6th. Thomas keeps 7th. I drop a couple spots to 8th. That's okay. I'm still in a good GC position, and again, I'm not riding for GC, so to even be there is great. It allows me to, be in breakaways and do my thing. And you're seeing other breakaway guys only coming in around 19:47 down with Bardet. McNulty is now 18th, though. Still worth some points. I think you get points through about 22nd, but that's pretty dang minor. I'd send him in a breakaway with me, but then I'd have him work for me, and then he'd end up in a worse position because he'll get exhausted instead of protected by the rest of the team. 17 points ahead of Pogacar in the KOM, and now well ahead. Johannesson was the one. Johannesson was 2nd. He was the one I overtook. He's got 49. Vingegaard, Evenepoel, the big dogs are starting to come to play. But Derek G, only 26. So I'm doing really, really good getting the points that I need. But this is far from done because Pogacar could easily win this King of the Mountains, and we'll have to be careful. Remember, I don't have form for this, so it's really hard to suddenly have it to make that happen and help that carry me. I actually am carrying minuses, so my 73 is probably only about a 71 mountain rating, making it even more of a miracle that I'm even doing what I am doing. Points classification, I am up to 4th now. but I'm still 101 points behind, and there are more sprint stages coming. In fact, stage 16 is a sprint stage. Second in the Young Rider, but over 10 minutes behind Evenepoel, so very much not a contender. Bora and Ineos, 1 second apart in the team classification is crazy. We're still 5th, but now there's 2 teams right breathing down our necks, and then we have an hour to the next one. But we could easily slip to 7th still. The big mountains are definitely catching us out. I've jumped to 3rd in the combativity, but I'm still... I have half. Oh, and it's Derek G who's leading it, not Johannesson. That's harder to catch because he stuck with me for a long time. No wonder he worked really hard to stay with me at the front. He didn't care about the KOM. He didn't contest that one for me. He was just fighting hard to stay in the front group. But I do pick up some individual points again. Pogacar, though, goes and wins the stage and gets 50 points. So now he's just 11 behind me. Still first for now, but again, that gap and the cream is rising to the top of the rankings right now. Really picking up those points. But I continue to do well, continue to hang on, and we continue to be second as a team for the time being. We're getting moderate points, others are getting bigger, better points, but we are keeping our slender advantage for the time being. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.